Okay, Kiana, here we go down to the basement. And we've got a concrete block foundation, which actually, concrete block has a tendency to develop issues with deflection, especially at the frost line in our climate here. These walls do not look bad. They, I don't see any deflection in the walls. I do see some separation here on this foundation wall here. That's typical, and again, that's at the frost line, but I'm not seeing a lot of deflection where the wall is bulging or anything like that. Now, here's our gas meters, and you can see this is unit 1, 2, 3, and then here's 4, and then this is for the hot water heater. So guess who's going to pay that? It's probably going to be the owner, is what my guess is. And I've got to get my head wrapped around how they're going to handle utilities in a situation like this. They have a gas forced air, high efficiency furnace here, and we're going to take a look at that in just a sec. We have a huge panel here. I think it's a fuse type system, and it looks like it would have some beef to it. So that's the good news. Now, the thing that I'm concerned about is we're going over here to this Cutler hammer box, and then we're getting into we're getting into 3 of the units that have, well, this just says house. 1, 2, 3. But I think these are all fuse type units too. They all have their own individual electric that's going to them. And then you have a house sub panel and a sub panel for number 1. And I'm not sure, this is where we need to have a guy looking at it that's familiar. A whole house guy would hopefully be able to give us a little bit of information about how they feel about the electrical setup and whether or not we need to have an electrician come in to take care or to give us an idea here on what issues we're dealing with. We're in this back unit here, or back room here, and again, I mean, this wall, I mean, I'm seeing some cracking here, but that's typical, and it's all along the mortar joints. So that doesn't really concern me all too much. And again, I'm not seeing any major deflection or anything like that. And the other thing that I really kind of like, now these are some older doors. They're probably originally 1940 is when this home was built. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I had thought I saw, or maybe they had treated this for termites, but I don't think they did. I'm not seeing any evidence of that. But I want to bring your attention to this beam up here. This is a metal I-beam, and that puppy has some beef to it. And that always makes me feel really good because it's got good structural, it's a lot better than your deck. Let's put it that way. So you've got a structural beam running through right here. And then you've got another structural beam that's sitting right in here, right up here. So you can see how that's set up. And what I really like is these support posts, you cannot see the bottoms of them because they were put in place first. And then after they were put in place, then they poured the concrete. And the concrete floors have some cracks in them, but I mean, I know this basement gets seepage. There's no question about it. This white stuff there is effervescence. This dark stuff here is evidence of seepage. You can see the white stuff there where the water runs in periods of heavy sustained rains. So I don't care what the owner says. I mean, that's really what's going on. But the biggest thing here is that the floors, if you have a real water problem, it's the subgrade water under the floor that can cause problems. And usually it'll actually force the floor up and actually break it and make it uneven. And these floors look really good. They really do. Now, this is a high efficiency furnace. I can tell you it's high efficiency because it's so efficient that they can exhaust the hot gases through PVC pipe. And anytime you see that configuration going on, it means it's probably a high efficient unit, and you don't have to use the chimney. Now, when I went through the basement here with Robert, I didn't notice this at the start. You can see on this unit, it's not high efficiency, and they're actually tapping into the chimney. Now, this is probably some form of asbestos, which in this case is probably a good thing, because asbestos, in terms of a fire, it probably wouldn't hurt to have an asbestos chimney. But that's down here, and usually where you're going to have issues is when it begins to break down, and I'm not seeing that that's happening. And a good way to ensure that is to encapsulate it by painting it. And I wish I could get you a better picture here. So I'm going to take you down here, and I want you to look at this dark spot coming from, I don't know why this, there we go. I don't know why we have this moisture here, but anytime you see a water heater and there's water running under it, then this is an easy deal. You just replace it. Don't even try to fix it. Yank it out of there and put a new one in. Otherwise, you're going to have a water bill like you wouldn't believe. So we definitely have some issues with that water heater. And I did not point that out to Robert when he was in here before. And then we're in the other part of this, and I'm going to try to get over here and there's some light, if I can get some on here. Maybe. Nope, no such luck there. Okay, so I'm standing here. On the other side is that other room, but this is the other part of the basement, and it's got some pretty decent size. So you've got some good storage down here. The bottom line is, with a concrete block or stone foundation, you want to run a dehumidifier anywhere from 9 to 10 months out of the year, all year long, because that takes the moisture out of the air. And if you can take the moisture out of the air, you won't have near the moisture problems or effervescence that we're seeing on some of these. Now, you're still going to get the seepage, but there's not much you can do. This basement was not designed to keep water out. It was designed for storage. And again, like I say, the walls look pretty darn good for a property this old. All right, so I'm finished with the basement here. And sorry for the fuzzy look on this stuff. The lighting isn't the best down here. But at least you can get some kind of idea here. So this is a lot better. I don't know what was happening with our focus before. So anyway, I will let you go, and we're going to go up to Unit 3.